Didn't think I'd make one, did you? You didn't think I'd make a Thanksgiving special video, did you? I did. I had this feeling that I needed to check just to be certain that TNA was not giving us anything different. And generally they didn't. It's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's a Thanksgiving special showing a lot of old footage. But they did sprinkle in basically matches that had been pre-recorded before, of course. But it's not like months upon months upon months old. It was mostly geared towards the last time they did their tapings. And they just threw it in along with all the rest of the stuff they thought might be interesting, along with some shots of Kaz with Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, and several other people, including the Thanksgiving party. That is the most infamous one in TNA history. Now, I'd never seen the Thanksgiving party, which was quite interesting to watch. I actually was interested in seeing it because I personally didn't see it. It was in the 2000s. Not 2010, 11, 12. It was around 2009. It was well before I watched TNA. But I got a chance to see it. And it was interesting to say the least. Have you ever heard of a bite-off of WWE? That's what it was. It was a bite-off of WWE's more than a few years ago, particularly with John Cena doing his rap of Vanilla Ice. I'm not saying it was an exact copy, and it wasn't that. But WWE did it, so TNA did it. But it was interesting to watch another version of it that I'd never seen. Because, like I've always told people, I didn't see TNA before 2010. I didn't have cable back then. So not everything that is available on TNA Plus, which I have to be careful because I have to be sure of how much money I spend. Because there has been a point where I had to turn off TNA Plus. And I did, I had it once for a couple of months, and then I turned it off, and I did Fightful. And that seemed to be more easier for at least for a little while. And I do what I have to do as long as I can afford it. So it was interesting to watch. But what do we really get? One, we got Jim Miller on commentary. Now, I know she's done Explosion, and I believe she did it with Tom. But this time around, she did a couple of matches with Tom. Of course, the last match that we saw was with Tom as well as Matthew. But having GM, let me give it to you like this. Do I like Gia Miller? Heck yeah, I do. I like Gia. And she's fun. When she's on commentary, she's not like Tom, and she's definitely not like Matthew. She's a little more fun. Now, does she act like she knows everything? Then no. But at least she does give a little bit of a dynamic that I kind of wish they would do more often. Because if you guys remember, more than a few years ago, Madison Rayne was the one who was doing commentary for the women. Remember, at one point, that's what she was doing. Now, I'm not saying that was the wisest thing to do, but it was a nice dynamic to see that, yes, she was doing commentary for the women, but seeing Gia was doing men and women, well, there was no women there, but you get my point. It wasn't bad. Now, we had to do the Turkey Bowl. Now, I've seen a couple of them. Over the years. And in this one, we had... let me see it. You had Eric Young. You got Trey Miguel. You got Mace Warner. You got the Hometown Man. You got Ryan Nimitz. No, you got Ryan. Better than Ryan Nimitz. Ryan. And then you had Brian Myers. Who do you think is going to get bitched out here? I don't see the Hometown Man. I don't see Mace Warner. I do not see Ryan. Let's make it very clear. Ryan looked like he was going to be the bitch. The one that was going to put on the suit. Because I wasn't going to see Brian Myers or Eric Young or even Trey Miguel at that point. But I'm not going to say that if they didn't have Ryan Nimitz, who would have won? I think it would have been the Hometown Man. They could have gone there with him. Doesn't mean I would have liked to see him, but if there was no Ryan Nimitz, it would have been the Hometown Man. Because I don't see Mace Warner, Trey Miguel, or Eric Young, even Brian Myers for that matter. Well, Brian Myers might have won it, but it would be very slim. But Ryan was one who ate the pin for Bryan. And now he gets extra pay, and Ryan gets to eat the turkey suit. And here's what gets interesting. After this match, after you go through all that other filler, you get this match. Ryan's still pissed. He was begging before. He didn't want to wear the costume, running around like he had been a dog with his tail, and he's chasing it. Now he came out with saying, which is the better holiday? Is it Thanksgiving or Christmas? And we got Krampus versus Ryan. I don't remember who Krampus is. He looks like Delirious, but I don't know. I don't remember. Whoever Krampus is, I think he might have been Delirious. I do believe it might have been Delirious. You guys tell me below. It looks like it could be him. But the thing here is, seeing that Ryan got a second match, I'm like, okay, there's a reason why they're using Ryan. The first one I was fine with. They wanted to bitch him out. But the second one, Ryan legitimately was allowed to do this match and win it. And I'm saying, okay, there's something going to happen with Ryan. Because a lot of times, and look what happened to the final match. They had an 8-man tag, and Ryan Nimitz was in it along with AJ Francis, along with Rich Swann and Jake something. And the ones who went against him was the System and Leon Slater. Again, he's in a third match. Not one, not two. He was in 3 separate matches. Yes, the System and who was it the one who had to eat the pin? I can't remember. I think it was Ryan who ate the pin. Yes, Ryan Nimitz ate the pin. So he ate 2 pins and lost, and he had 1 pin that he won. So Ryan was actually given this spot. And understand, they don't usually give spots like that. I'm glad I watched this special, because you may get a good idea of the tone what's going on in 2026. As strange as it is, as weird as it is, but there's a possibility that when you see certain wrestlers get a spot where they're seen in more than one match, whether they win or lose, that means the company has some investment in them in some form or fashion. Either they think, as someone who does comedy, they trust them to do the comedy. If they see them as, like what happened with his brother Nick, who was always used in matches. If there was an emergency, if something went wrong, they always used Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nimitz, to try and make a match because they needed someone to fill in. They knew they can trust him with a match. So Ryan was given this 3-match show. This is something you don't normally see. And I kind of like to see that. But then it makes you question, what are they going to do with him now? Because usually, when they do something like this, they usually will say, okay, this guy, we see what he's doing, we can trust him, let's see what we can do with him next year. So that's going to be the question for 2026. And we now know Genesis will be reappearing in 2026. We just don't know when yet. They have not given a date. And this is where it's going to be very interesting, because the question is going to be, will it be at the end of January, or will it be somewhere in the middle of January? My guess is going to be the end, like it normally is. There was not much here. Let's make this very clear. Other than stuttering. On and off, there was stuttering in the video. Slight stuttering, like somewhere during, I think, one of the matches that was already pre-recorded. And then really bad when you look at Fade to Black, and they showed about Kaz, Frankie Kazarian. His video was stuttery so badly. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the app I was looking at. Or maybe it was actually on Access TV. I don't know. I was watching on the app, and it was severely stuttery. Now, I don't know if that's across the television show or the app. You guys are going to have to tell me if you watched Access TV and you saw it. But it was so bad. It could make you sick if you try to stare at it too long. But other than this, it wasn't anything different than I thought. They gave us mostly repeats. Gave us one match that was from September 23rd, I think. I can't remember when. But you saw a match then. But the only thing we did get was 3 matches where Ryan Nimitz, Ryan, was the one that was focused on. He had to wear the turkey suit. Then he managed to beat Krimis in the turkey suit. And then wearing still the turkey suit in an 8-man tag. And again eats the pin. And that was with the young in charge, the Leon Slater, doing the 450 Swanton. I know it's Swanton 450, but I like sometimes to call it 450 Swanton. That's what we got. And this is your Thanksgiving special of TNA Impact. Tell me below, did I just make a stupid mistake by making this video? Or you can say, dude, thank you for making the video. Particularly, I didn't watch TNA. I thought it wasn't going to be anything. I will tell you this. It is a lot of old matches with 3 matches put into it that were not there. And I didn't forget, just in case you thought I forgot, seeing Joe Henry and Jeff Hardy singing, because there was a unplayed video of when the show was over, and you see Joe Henry come out and then calls out. I didn't think they would show something like an unseen segment where they show a concert with Joe Henry and Jeff Hardy, and pretty much the Nimitzes come out and they get their asses handed to him, and you see Ryan again gets his ass handed to him, and this time it was by Joe Henry's hands. Of course, Nick also got nailed by Jeff, but you get my point. Peace.